So you're telling me I didn't have to watch Secret Invasion to see this movie?
No.
Technically, no. But you still had to watch two other shows to understand the Marvels, which is what we're reviewing tonight. So let's get started.
That's not true also.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the final credits for another review. This time talking about a highly talked about movie that came out this past week called The Marvels. Maybe you've heard of it. We saw it. We definitely have a lot of thoughts.
People about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you might have heard like some other news about it. I mean, our last video we talked about the Variety article. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on with Marvel Studios and Disney and all those people in general. Was The Marvels the movie to put things back on track? I'll let you guys take it first. What did you guys think? We gave our first impressions, but now that we had a few days to mull it over, was this the answer to Marvel Studios that we needed?
No, it wasn't. I agree with my previous video. Yeah, no, this was a mess. It wasn't a pile of garbage, mind you, but it was still a mess. I felt like the writing was all over the place. We were in situation after situation with not a lot of context behind it. Like, you can pay attention enough, but I felt like we definitely needed a little more like storytelling elements in this movie just to like get by a little bit. The runtime, thank God, finally wasn't over 2 hours, but after talking over with the guys, maybe add on another 5 minutes or so just for extra storytelling. But
5 to 10, give or take, 5 to 10.
You know what? I'll meet you halfway with 7.
Fine. Lucky number.
There you go.
Yeah. Spade, you're looking very inquisitive right now. Let it all out. Let it all out. This is your moment.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying it was a great movie, but it was a good movie. There's nothing that I can say that really irked me about this.
Oh, I can.
You could say, but don't you have to watch WandaVision? And don't you have to watch Miss Marvel? And don't you have to watch Secret Wars? And don't you have... Honestly, no. Because Big Grim didn't watch Miss Marvel and he understood everything that was going on. They explained everything in the movie. And I feel like it was a decent story. It was... Again, it wasn't great. It was good.
It was messy.
Was it better than, let's say, I don't know, Black Widow? I think so. A lot better. Was it better than No Way Home? No. Was it better than Shang-Chi? No.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
it wasn't better than Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was a good time. I was entertained throughout the whole hour and a half that it was going on for.
I stick to what I say in the short. It wasn't the best movie overall, wasn't the worst movie overall. Take out 2 scenes. Now, to expand on that, I would have been okay without the dancing at the castle on the planet where everybody sings the musical. That was forced comedy, and I think Johnny 64 competitive SpongeBob comedy, which he'll go off on. And the scene when all the scene where all the cats were being hatched to a musical number, to the song "Memories" from the Broadway show Cats. Inhaling, saving the crew.
Is that what that song was?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't even know that until this exact moment. God, why?
Stupid. That's so stupid.
Thank you.
Given how bad the movie was for that too.
Guys, the whole point of that singing scene, that whole dancing, singing scene that was happening was just so we know that Captain Marvel is now a Disney princess.
Oh Lord!
It was definitely a Disney-inspired scene for sure.
She's technically a queen, number 1.
Well, they called her a princess.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she magically appeared in Disney princess garb, so and then she got magically taken back into her regular clothes. So if that wasn't the most Disney thing I've ever seen in my entire life with a Marvel movie, I don't know what is. But
it's following. It followed them. it followed the Marvel formula, which definitely needs to be shaken up pretty much. And that wasn't a bad thing for me. I enjoyed it overall. I liked it overall. It doesn't deserve all this hate. And yeah, it could have been fixed with certain things, but I like the story. And I feel like this is the first, and someone who likes the Disney Plus shows more than others. I was happy to see, characters from the shows being used to screen footage, flashbacks made to this point where yes, you don't have to watch the shows, but I like seeing the flashbacks to WandaVision. I like seeing flashbacks to Miss Marvel's show. So this was the first movie to result in the Disney Plus shows going on to the big screen. We had we'll talk this about a little bit at the end. We had the cameo from Kate Bishop at the end with the seeds planted for Young Avengers. So I'm enjoying the fact that we're seeing the characters established on the Disney Plus shows jump to the big screen, which I wanted back with, past Marvel shows. But this was a nice way to connect that. But, for certain people, is it too much to watch? Maybe. But I gladly enjoyed that aspect of the film, linking the characters from the Disney Plus shows together.
I agree. I disagree a little bit with Spade saying that you didn't need to watch either of those shows. But the thing is, only because, you're not missing the general context of both shows of who Monica Rambeau is and who Miss Marvel is, Kamala Khan. But you get so much extra context from watching those shows with certain things, what are the bangles? Where did that come from? All that, why is there two of them? Why is it significant that she has one of them? All that stuff. Oh, my grandma mailed it to me. But if you watch those shows, you have a full understanding versus watching an hour and 45-minute movie where they kind of gloss over it in a matter of 2 seconds, amongst other parts of the story that they gloss over. But it just, if you watch it by itself, it just kind of adds to just the goofiness of the writing, where it's just oh, sure, of course, why not? It's with everything else in the movie was just kind of sure, yeah, why not? This is just happening just because. And yeah, we're just singing and we're just letting cats eat people and do this and do that. So the whole movie, this is my whole problem with this movie is what you guys are describing. Yeah, sure, I didn't hate it. I actually liked it better than I thought I would. But it's just yet another Marvel movie that is I feel like I'm defending or have to defend by calling it it was a fun movie, but it wasn't great. It was just good. It was just okay. It was just this and just that, and you should just sit back and let your mind rot while you watch it. And it's just Marvel movies used to be more than that. And it's this is another Thor: Love and Thunder situation. This is another Quantumania situation where the writing is kind of cheapened out. Everybody's just pew-pewing and punching all over the place just to get what they want. Well, actually, I will say the fighting is a little bit better in this movie just because the whole switching dynamic, that changed things up a little bit. But it's just, I'm getting so tired of just these same tropes and these same things and these same issues popping up in all these movies, when they used to be better and have more substance. And we're I know we're waiting for Marvel to break out of those, and we know that behind the scenes they're making changes, and we're not going to see the results of that for quite some time, probably another year or so. But this movie, this wasn't the movie to move the needle by any means. And yeah, it was definitely plagued by more negativity than it deserved because of all the stuff coming out in the news, the articles that have been coming out about how all the turmoil that's going on behind the scenes, all that stuff. Obviously, it's Captain Marvel, it's Brie Larson. There's going to be a certain group of people just shitting on the movie just because, if you know what I mean. And obviously the writer's strike, the actor's strike, holding it back. This was really the only Marvel movie that fell right in the middle of all that. So there were things that didn't help, but at the same time, this was a frustrating movie regardless for me, just because I didn't hate it, but I just know this movie could have just been so much more, and they just didn't take that extra step to do it. So that's really my general feelings of the movie for sure. But let's talk. You know what? Let's step away from the negativity for a second. Let's talk about the things we definitely did like the highlights of the movie. Starting with Kamala Khan, Iman Vellani playing.
Yes, 100%.
That's the list right there.
I think she carried the whole movie. She was the youngest and smallest character by far, but she was like literally smallest. But like she was carrying the movie on her shoulders. I think we could all agree.
Listen. I'm not a praying man, right? But I pray for that girl's poor back for carrying this entire movie. My God, I honestly, she was by far the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah, and she's like a fan too, right? Iman Vellani. She's like an active Reddit user. You know, the fandom loves her for that. She's had, like she's had run-ins with Kevin Feige himself about what universe this falls underneath.
She wrote her own comic recently.
She writes her own.
Well.
Yeah. She started writing her own Marvel comic.
She's the only one to like blatantly call out Feige for certain things, and then just like and get away with it too. Like it's phenomenal, the stuff that like she like gets away with in a good way.
Yeah, and I think that she was like the perfect foil character to like the other two Marvels that we had in this movie. Just being like the young, energetic fangirl, like like everything that Captain Marvel does, like she just lights up and she's like, "Really? Are we twinsies? Are we?" And it's just like you can't help but like feel endeared towards that, and you're rooting for her the entire time.
Absolutely,
she was the absolute 100% scene stealer. She was the Marvel fan in the Marvel movie, representing us to steal that from Big Grim. Absolutely, her back is hurting. And our very own Speed just got inhaled by one of the alien cats, so hopefully they spit him out real soon. So he returns
he got flirking.
Good Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Like honestly though, like there was a point I was sitting next to Johnny in the theater, and he gushed for a hot second, saying like, "Yeah, no, that's definitely me up there." And I wanted to look at him and say, "Excuse you, that's me freaking out about like all these characters." And then we literally just said, "No, it is every like diehard like comic book fan meeting their hero, like meeting Batman or Superman or Captain America or Iron Man for the first time, and you being a diehard fan. That was it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she's literally like the fandom looking back at us from the movie. Like she represents us almost. And yeah, I mean, like I said, just like her dialogue, her facial expressions.
The cat
Flurkin threw him up. The Flurkin threw him up. He's back.
You survived, Spade. I'm proud of you.
Spade has survived. It's okay. We were still gushing over Iman Vellani's performance of Miss Marvel, but yeah, I think we were saying, we all agree that she was the absolute highlight of the movie and probably like a big reason to watch it for sure. If you want to give any,
I don't mean to bring.
Good.
I don't mean to bring back to. I don't mean to bring back to a negative space, but what a waste of a performance for Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. He was just a comic relief.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. Because exactly what we just saw from this movie is exactly what we just saw in his own show.
No,
his own show.
It was
like
nothing.
It felt like a different character.
Well, there's a reason. I think you guys are aware, right? Like, this movie, the Marvels, was supposed to come out before Secret Invasion. So it switched places with Quantumania essentially. Yep. So that's why, like not only was Nick Fury not acting like himself, we didn't even see his wife, who we got introduced to and was a big part of the story in Secret Invasion. So like it was very clear that, and you know what, if they want to treat this like that they're ignoring Secret Invasion, pretending it didn't happen, I'm all for that because that show was just terrible.
So for that.
Yeah, so that's all good and fun to me if that's the direction they want to just run with anyway. But that's the main reason too. I think that was jarring.
It was just
people's minds.
It was just weird for me to see Nick Fury reduced to. I mean, he was funny in certain scenes, but it was just a weird thing that Nick Fury was reduced to a comedy role and a background character, while and he has this this history with Captain Marvel, with Carol Danvers, and you're finally reunited, their most significant screen time. But I guess that got glanced over as well. It didn't take away from the movie as a whole. I just felt like he was just there hanging out with, Kamala's family and the crew on the on the spaceship, but
Kind of, yeah. I felt like he was more of like a babysitter person rather than like over anything
guys,
else.
Especially to Pancakes. I have a question for you. What did he do differently in the Marvels than he did in the first Avengers? I'll tell you, nothing. He did the same exact thing he did in this movie that he did in the Avengers. And people loved him there. The only difference is that we're seeing him from Secret Invasion over here.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Everything else, same performance, same kind of thing, could do without him.
I would argue that he had something to prove in the Avengers, like his own subplot was, proving to like the World Organization, those other world leaders that
that's fine. What did he physically do?
No, he was still like
he shot a rocket. That's
his
it.
role. Yeah, he was still within his role.
Yeah.
He just was a little bit more slapstick this time. But that was the whole movie, not just him. It was everybody in the movie, which was, I think, was an issue with it in general. But I see what Pancakes is saying. But again, I think part of that was just the nature of the movie and possibly just the short runtime too. It's just like, hey, we only have a few scenes to spare with him, so let's just bring out the usual Samuel L. Jackson laughs. You know what I mean? So.
Johnny, do you think that one of the reasons why you weren't too thrilled of the Marvels was maybe you have superhero fatigue?
No, because I still anticipate these movies. Like I still go into these movies hoping for the best. Like I don't, and like I said, like it's the tropes and the issues that I'm seeing. They're the same issues that like they're not affecting every single movie. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was great. Some movies here and there and shows in Phase 4 were fine, but it's like when you see those issues, it's just like, oh, they still didn't fucking learn. Like like I don't have superhero fatigue. I have slapstick comedy. Fun for the whole family 4D roller coaster. Like fatigue.
Dare I say the Marvel formula fatigue, essentially.
The Phase 4 fatigue. The Phase 4 formula fatigue for sure.
Good enough.
That's what I would say. But what else this movie? Obviously Brie Larson, the star of the show. I liked her better in this movie than the first one.
I was about to say I didn't mind her in this one. I thought she was great.
I thought she did a good job in this movie. Yeah.
She gave a smile. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the first movie she didn't smile at all.
Yeah, which was kind of by design. Like that was her character in the first movie, but I could tell like there were certain there was a scene where she kind of like was like she snapped a little bit at Nick Fury, like aren't you listening to me? Like, hey, like I got this thing on my hand, like hello, and I'm like, oh, that's a new like energetic side to her that we haven't seen yet. So that was fine.
One scene, one of my favorite scenes is when the three girls had the technology linked to the minds to trigger memories, and they were going through their Rolodex and combine, seeing, that's playing, going back to what I was saying earlier about using scenes from the Disney Plus shows. I thought that was a nice touch. One scene they added is that Captain Marvel came back to Earth to speak to Maria Rambeau, unfortunately, when she was sick. So that definitely added context to the series side of the movie, why Monica was hesitant to ever see her again. But I thought that was a really well done scene when they were going through their memories then on the various adventures of the girls. Grim, what's your response to that with that scene?
I mean, okay, that whole scene again, I felt like was a mess because they were trying to do something, and you could see it a mile away that someone's gonna see something they don't want the other to see. Like you could see it coming a mile away, and sure enough, that's exactly what we got. One of my favorite scenes, if we're being completely honest. I admit, yeah, it's childish, whatever, but the montage of them working together to figure out their powers, I thought that was wholesome. It was great. Yeah. I thought it was fantastic.
When they were training on the training sequence, when they were on Carol Danvers' ship, that was really cool.
Yeah, they were learning how to hone their switching situation. So that was that was
Galactic at that point, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, which was used in the last movie too. But you know, it's almost like that theme song at this point. Is that what you were saying? The intergalactic?
Intergalactic.
Yeah, the song.
That
Yeah,
music
yeah.
was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was playing. But yeah, no, I mean it's a training montage, and like I mean for me personally, like I'm always up for a good training montage, whether it's in a fighting movie or a superhero movie. So that's I would say I think that's up there with me too. But I think my favorite scene probably it's probably so small and stupid, but like when after that whole that fight switching part where you know they were going in between Kamala Khan's house and the space station and wherever else that they were fighting the Kree. That was actually a really good choreographed scene. I like that scene a lot. But after it was all over, when Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, is back in her house with her family and everything's destroyed, and we were laughing at that. Like her family is explaining, "Oh, what the hell's going on? Captain Marvel was just here," and you just see her face light up, like, "Who is here?" And like they're just like going on, like just saying, like, "Yeah, this happened, and she came here," and like she's not even listening to anything anyone's saying at that point. Her face is just like, and then she just like explodes, like, "Oh my god!" Like again, that's us. That's the fandom. If we were in that same situation, it would have been like the same exact thing for most of us. So like that part, like that was when I was like, you know what? Welcome to the team, kiddo. You know, like you're one of the family now. Great. Enjoy.
That was
speaking of welcome to the team. Can we talk about that post-credit scene for a hot second?
Oh, we will. What did I want to bring up first? We didn't talk about what's her face. Probably really short. Photon or Professor
villain?
Marvel or no, and actually in the villain too. But what's her face?
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. Yeah. The last part of this trifecta that I feel like she wasn't a character. She was more of like a catalyst or a MacGuffin. So you know, like the actress is fine. I like Tiana Paris, and I think generally she's had like a good track record of like what she's been in, but like I didn't like the character was just kind of, you know, they hyped her up in WandaVision, like that's where she was introduced. She got her powers there, and then I still have no idea what her powers actually are other than like phasing in and out of stuff, and B, she just like I didn't like her dynamic with Carol that much. I thought she was kind of like a whiny brat to her. Like I get that Carol didn't come back, but like she had a responsibility to the fucking universe, you know. And like then like they had an argument, and then like the next scene she was over it. It seemed like, and then they had one more like Full House moment, and then that was it, and then everything was fine. Oh, Spade, you're muted. My bad.
Think of it from her perspective, right? Her perspective is, I haven't seen you in 30 years. Do you expect me to like hug you and give you high fives and say, "What's up? How you doing?" No, like she was a little bitter. And then after a while, she was just like, "Okay, everything's back to normal again. Now we're adults. Now we got to save the universe." You understand?
Yeah, but it just seemed kind of not pointless, but just so glossed over. It was just not like, okay, like you had an emotional scene. The next scene, you're smiling and joking again. And a lot of things were glossed over in this movie just because they didn't have the time to fully flesh out a script for everything and an explanation for everything. You know, they had so many things to pack in and explain to the audience for them that, yeah, we had a lot of that in this movie. And I think she was definitely like at the top of the list.
Her character was a nice link from besides Carol and Nick Fury. Her character was a nice link to the original, you know, from the character we've seen as a child, as an adult in WandaVision. Now how she truly is, and the way she's acting because of the trauma, losing her mother in the snap, and you know she didn't get to say goodbye and all that. So even though she was kind of second fiddle to Kamala, to Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, I still think she filled her role pretty well.
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead.
Oh, please. No, continue, John.
No, I mean, like I said, I just think like, yeah, like those were important dynamics, but they were just really like, just, you know, okay, let's just get through it and just get her to her purpose, which was, you know, at the end. And, you know, I guess we'll talk about the villain too for really quick, because there's not much to her. But, you know, the villain does what the villain does. And then, you know, she ends up in another universe with her mystery light powers, however the hell she had to fix it in a certain way. and now she's
Well,
she got
can we
used to.
talk about
Very
can
much.
we talk about the villain? The villain
Yes.
sucked. This
Oh
is
no,
by
I'm
far
good.
one
I'm
of
getting
the
into that.
worst
I
ones.
promise.
Yeah.
So here's the
This is
thing
the
with
worst
that:
villain ever.
the villain
No.
and Proton. I feel like okay. Let me explain myself for a hot second.
You mean
When you
Photon?
have a movie with
Photon.
like multiple main characters, not every movie is gonna be like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or like the Ghostbusters. You're going to have a couple of characters that don't stand out at all. To which I call, I'm here too, guys. Look at me. Yeah, no, that's cool. Hey, Miss Marvel, you're really great. I'm here too, guys. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Get to the back. That was our villain, and that was Proton in this movie. I just felt like they were unnecessary. And to see that about the villain, like there was nothing new at all. Like, yes, now that we're on like a planetary scale of like doing things, yes, I'm going to do things to your planet to save my planet. I'm evil. Like, I didn't care.
She was better than the Dark Elves. She's still better than the Dark Elves. More interesting than that. I think that's the low point that we measure by. But
you know what the issue with her was? The issue with her was when you were watching the trailers, they were showcasing Thanos, and it made it sound like she was going to continue Thanos's work in the trailers. And in the meantime, he's not anywhere in the movie, and neither are his plans or her plans coincide with his plans. So it's like, what just went on? What's going on? I thought Thanos was going to be here, and he wasn't at all.
I'm glad you mentioned that actually, because I felt like more so than the movie, I was more pissed by the marketing because like
it was bad.
There was those two trailers like right before the movie came out that they just did a whole tonal shift from like this being like a wacky fun thing from the first trailer, and then like all of a sudden, this was after like the Variety article came out and all this stuff, and then now we're just like, oh yeah, we're getting clips of Iron Man and Captain America. Remember those guys? Yeah, that like you remember them, right? And then then they started talking about the villain as if showing Thanos and voice clips of him and likening him to this villain that we still had no idea what she was about or who she was. And then you go into the movie and then it had nothing to do with any of that stuff. So it was just like we felt a little duped. It's just the movie was what it was, but I was just like Marvel really felt like sounded like they were desperate for butts and seats at that point. So showing a lot of cracks in their confidence, in my opinion. But
you know what it is? I think it's because they had such a short movie, and the trailers, they couldn't put too much in the trailers because then it would give away the whole movie. They were just like, oh, let's just add a montage of all the other movies that we had.
Yeah, but I think the timing of it was just like they really knew that they were going to get screwed with this movie. They were like, we need to get people to believe that there's something really big with this movie. And then of course, this is actually going to be a good segue. On social media, they had the tagline like, don't miss the moment that changes everything. And obviously talking about the mid-credit scene, that was all we didn't really have a post-credit scene. But let's talk about that for a second before we wrap things up, because I think that was a good window into what to expect for the rest of the MCU. Pancakes is about to go freaking nuts on this. I will say this was the most overrated post-credit scene of all time. But I will let you guys. I will absolutely let you guys give your takes on this first, because I have my point is just very short and sweet.
I think Big Grim wanted to talk about this first, the mid-credit scene.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same one. Are we talking about Miss Marvel? No. Miss Marvel meeting another. Okay. So you're talking about the last thing that we saw.
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be okay. At the time of seeing this, yes, I was super hyped about it. I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. But now that it's marinated for a couple of days, I'm with Johnny on this, and the fact that like, when the hell is the payoff of the X-Men being finally introduced into this gonna happen? How long is it gonna take until we get the payoff for that? 5 years minimum. Like,
we still got.
So what? Wait, hold on, guys. Hold on, because this is an argument that's waiting to happen. Did you guys want the Avengers to come out after the first Iron Man movie? No, it took 5 or so years for all the Avengers to show up into one movie. So what makes you think that the Young Avengers are not going to take
No,
5 years?
that
not my
is
problem.
not what I'm talking about.
Longer.
What I'm talking about is seeing multiple end credit clips happening over and over and over. This is the fatigue that we're talking about now, Spade, of keep seeing these end credits happening over and over, and there's zero payoff.
Oh, that
Like,
then yes, I will agree
nothing.
with you on that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like
That I will
the scene
agree with,
itself,
'cause
that was great.
Look at
That's
Love
fine.
and Thunder. Look at Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder. We had the
Oh,
introduction of Hercules. What happened with that?
Mhm.
Yeah, who cares? But this is the X-Men though, right? Like, you know, but
Yeah.
I think what Big Grim's talking about, that, like, you know, we keep getting nods to like, oh, like, you know, mutants. They said the word mutant, and they said the word mutant there. Did you hear it? Like, oh, the little X-Men theme is there. And then obviously things like Multiverse of Madness, where we got like the Illuminati, we saw Charles Xavier, all that stuff. Great. But it's like, this was the same thing as that. Okay. It's not like this is their answer to the X-Men. It's going to be stuck in another universe. Okay. It's the same thing. It's no bigger reveal than what we got with Charles Xavier and Multiverse of Madness. It was the same level. So we didn't get, there is no payoff with that, in my opinion. It's just more confirmation that their only answer to putting the X-Men in this universe is by putting them in another universe and soft rebooting. That's clearly where this is going. It was great to see Kelsey Grammer back as Beast, but it didn't resonate with me as much as I feel like it might have resonated with Pancakes, which I'll let him give his piece really quick. But
all right, so yeah, being an X-Men fan, yes, it's fun. I could see the frustrations connected to it. When I'm going to get the payoff, we're getting teases here and there. Charles Xavier from another world. They said the word mutant. If you go back to Black Panther 2, we got confirmation of the first mutant. But the fact that Monica Rambeau got stranded in probably the X-Men Fox universe, and he said Charles to obviously reference Professor X. She saw a variant of her mother. It's not her mother binary. In that world. It's binary. Yep. But the fact to see Beast on screen, and I think next year, Wolverine and Deadpool will expand on it, and Deadpool 3, Johnny, don't go off on that multiverse rant just yet. But in the moment, it was amazing. The more confirmation the X-Men had come. Yes, we knew that for a while, blah, blah, blah. But it's the fact that they used Beast and played by Kelsey Grammer in a Fox film from the last, he made a little cameo in Days of Future Past back in 2014. And he's really starting role was in the X3 from 2006. So you gotta love these little nods to Marvel movies outside the MCU that are slowly being connected through the multiverse. So
very slowly.
Very slowly. It's a slow burn. Your patience is running dry. We all know that. But I think it was so cool what they did. I mean, could have they done something else? Who knows? But it's Beast, it's X-Men. They mentioned Charles Xavier. Let's see where this goes.
Cool. Well, the actual movie
5 to 8 years later.
Yeah. When it comes to the actual Captain Marvel movie, I think we wanted more out of that. So, and Big Grim, you mentioned before too. There was another.
I was about to say, can we talk about the good end credits scene, please?
Yes. Yeah, my girl.
Oh
Haley,
my god,
she's back. She's back.
So, not even that, because we actually had a callback to the original Iron Man in this, in which case Miss Marvel completely pulled a Nick Fury coming in to see our young little Archer come in and say, I'm going to put a team together. Yeah. And I'm like,
she's sitting in the dark just like him. Very, very cute.
Yep. And we're getting a Young Avengers.
Yeah, because if you think it's going to take a long time to take
years anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying, do you think it's going to take a long time to get the X-Men on screen? We haven't even gotten anything about the Young Avengers movie itself. So by the time we do, they're going to be a little bit more grown up. But that's but
here's the thing, though. I feel like we're going to get a Young Avengers before X-Men for the sole fact we've already seen these characters in movies already. With this, we just seen Beast in like one scene, and that's it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, they got to announce something soon. That's all I could say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. I think this review has gone on long enough. So, any other final quick thoughts before we sign off for today on this review? Going once, going twice.
I didn't mind going to see this movie. Is it something that we could have skipped? Maybe, but at the same time, I didn't hate it. It was a mess. Everything was all over the place. But it did definitely have its shining points of this. Do I recommend it? Yeah, it was enjoyable. Like, if you're looking for a hardcore story thing or whatever, no, you're not going to get that here. But at the same time, if you're looking for a nice day out way to kill like an hour and a half, go see it. Why not?
It is leaps and bounds better than Quantumania.
I
But
wouldn't say leaps and bounds, but
yes, it's leaps and bounds better than Quantumania. But the villain in Quantumania was leaps and bounds better than the villain in the Marvels. So
yeah. Balances out somehow, some magical way.
This movie did not deserve the hate that it got. It's way better than what the critics and certain people are doing. They are wrong. This is it's a better movie than they're saying it is. So I say go see it.
I say wait for it to come out on Disney Plus and watch it there. But if you really have nothing to do on the weekend, by all means, go see it.
Definitely don't see it twice, right, Johnny?
Yeah, well, I under certain circumstances, I had to, but that's beside the point. But anyway, okay, to wrap this up officially, that was our review of the Marvels. Did you guys see it? Did you guys like it? Did you hate it? Did you enjoy the post-credit scene and all the other stuff we talked about? Let us know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, give us a like, give us a subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified. And if you want even more notifications of news from us, follow us at Official Final Credits on Instagram. And until then, we out. Roll credits.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.